A bipartisan U.S. bill that would hit Russia with sanctions in a bid to pressure Moscow into good-faith peace negotiations with Ukraine has gained momentum this week in Congress, but it still lacks the presidential push it needs to get over the finish line. Now, Ukraine's supporters in Washington and Kyiv, who have for months hoped for President Donald Trump to throw his weight behind the bill, are anxiously awaiting what the Republican president has said will be a major statement on Russia on Monday. Trump, who vowed during his election campaign to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine, has given no details on what his planned announcement would entail, but over the past few weeks, he has grown increasingly and publicly frustrated with Russian President Vladimir Putin over his reluctance to accept a ceasefire and the growing civilian death toll of Russian attacks. On Tuesday, Trump approved sending U.S. defensive weapons to Ukraine. 2 days later, he came closer than ever to endorsing the sanctions bill, although he has not yet signed off on the legislation's text, according to a person with knowledge of his thinking. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune told reporters earlier in the week that the Senate could vote on the bill this month. Mike Johnson, the top House Republican, has expressed similar optimism, while Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have privately told European diplomats that the bill will move imminently, according to a source with direct knowledge of the matter. The Senate will move soon on a tough sanctions bill, not only against Russia, but also against countries like China and India that buy Russian energy products that finance Putin's war machine, Graham wrote on X on Tuesday. Still, it was unclear if Trump had given up on pushing for diplomacy with Russia. And the extensive veto power on sanctions that the White House is demanding could render the bill more symbolic than substantive, some supporters acknowledge. Speaking to reporters in Kuala Lumpur on Friday following his second in-person meeting with Russian Foreign Sergei Lavrov, Rubio said a new idea was discussed that he would be taking back to Trump for further consultations. He declined to give further details. That new concept is, this new approach is not something that automatically leads to peace, but it could potentially open the door to a path, Rubio said. But he also reiterated Trump's frustration over Moscow's unwillingness to be more flexible, and said Americans had told the Russians weeks ago that a sanctions bill could well pass.